So I removed my radiator fan and of course the shroud. Now the shroud on the Camaro is supposed to go like this, which means that this would be the top. So you see I have my hole drilled, and obviously on the Nova I had to flip it around, and now this is the top. Now I'm going to start preparing this so that I can reinstall it and finally finish it off. Now this line here I did not like. Now you know my radiator support panel will cover this line. Let me turn it around, because it will go up against this portion here, but this line here will show, and I don't like that. Now this panel, I want to paint it so that it matches the black for the rest of the engine scheme. So I'm going to be using my truck bed coating for that textured finish. Now to get rid of this line, I'm going to be sanding it down. I'm going to get rid of this line by using 320 grit and basically mending it so that it's nice and smooth. And depending on how it feels after I do the 320 grit scratches, I may decide to go as far as 180 grit scratches all over the panel. That way I make the panel have plenty of tooth for the paint to stick, and that way I can get this all nicely coated and it will match this here, which of course this is what I want the panel to look like. I want it to have that textured finish all over, and so that's what I'm going to do right now. Now the inside is somewhat polished, and so I'm going to leave it polished because I think that that will help the airflow flow much smoother than having a textured finish. So all of that will be masked off from the paint. I want to keep it having that nice smooth finish, and that's just for aerodynamics of the air. So anyway, so I'm gonna get to work. Okay, so I sanded the panel down, and I'm gonna show you what I used. I decided to go with my soft block and 180 grit because I wanted the 320 wasn't good enough for me. So I sanded down that whole area, and obviously it doesn't look pretty, but if you run your finger across it, it feels nice and smooth. And since I was using a soft block to sand, I sanded out most of the imperfections in that area. As you can see, I had to go deep in some areas because there was a bit of a waves, so I got rid of some of the waves. Probably not critical because I'm going to be doing the textured finish anyway, but I wanted to get rid of the waves because I kind of wanted it to look more round. And I did the whole panel all the way, all around. And as you can see, I masked it off. It's all fully masked for the inside because I want the inside to remain shiny. And now I'm going to wipe this whole panel down with acetone. And it's a quick wipe, and once it's done with the wipe, to get rid of the sanding residue, because it is a fine powder that comes off as you sand it, then I will start the painting process. Well, here's the shroud. Here's with the coating, with the truck bed coating. It's finally painted, and you can see that textured finish, and that's what I want. Looks awesome. And then for the inside, what I did was I gave it 2 coats of this wax so that I get a nice slippery surface. And so I just took a foam pad and just basically give it a good rub down. 2 coats of wax. So now if you put the pieces together, you see that they're the same. And then for the top here, there's no more line, and that's pretty much what I want. I wanted to get rid of that line, so now it's nice and smooth. So now I'm gonna install the panel and install the fan, and in doing so it's gonna be a task because I don't want to remove the radiator, and I've been doing this without removing the radiator because that would mean I have to remove the transmission lines and it'll make a mess, and I don't want to drain the water that's in there. So when I install this, I have to install it with everything in place. So the trick is I have to install first the shroud, and then through the shroud I have to install the fan, and then move the shroud back and then stick my hands in here and try to get the 4 bolts. And the bolts are that long, so I have to try to work that in. It's definitely a pain in the butt, but it's got to be done. So that's the task I have ahead. Well, here we have it. The radiator support panel and shroud is finally installed. So let's give you a little tour. The black bolts, as with the rest of the black bolts, I wanted to keep it consistent. And then there's the black rubber for the radiator support. Those are the support pads. So that kind of goes with my black and red scheme. There's the shroud, nice and black. And give you a look at the side. There's the foam. So I put the foam around the shroud before putting it onto the radiator. And then there's my fan blades. So it's looking pretty sweet. So now the clearance, see if we can look at the clearance. There's the clearance here. I don't know if you can see that clearly, but that's the clearance on that side. And let's go over to the other side. And here's the clearance for that side. So you can see I have plenty of clearance. It's anywhere between 1/2 inch to 3/4, somewhere around there, of clearance, all the way around. Oh, my light shut off. So there, you can see the bolt there for the top, and then let's take a look at the bottom. So the way the bottom looks, that's basically how it looks, and that holds the shroud on the bottom. And I took a liberty of repainting that bolt black because when I removed it, the red got all chipped, so I just painted it black. So there it is. That's the shroud. It's finally done. I'm very happy with it. It looks really, really nice. And hope you enjoyed these videos as I progressed along with this shroud. It was a big project, a small little thing, but it took a lot of time to do. And then, as I stated as I was painting it, the dent that was caused for some reason after the paint leveled out, it kinda went away. So you know, it doesn't destroy the look that I was going for, and I can see the line is straight. So the look I was going for actually worked out. So it was definitely worth it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching.